Hello there, people of the internet. How's everyone doing today? I'm doing alright, thanks for asking. Today, I've got kind of an unorthodox drill that I'm going to be running. I like running these unorthodox drills just A, because they're fun to run, and B, because if I ever find myself in an unorthodox situation, I've already got a little bit of experience with it. Now, like I said, this is not the first time I've run a drill like this. I actually do this, pretty often, A, to get exercise, and B, because I'm really bored most of the time. But today we are going to be running what would be considered an AR-15 malfunction in some sort of active situation. It is really hot out right now, and the wind is blowing, and man, does it feel good, but I bet it's hell on the audio right now. So pretty much this is what I'm going to do in order to get exercise in, but also be able to run the drill. I have an AR-15 with me, my ATI OmniMax Hybrid polymer receiver AR-15. Yes, I know a lot of people don't like it because of its polymer receiver. That's fine, to each their own. It's basically just a range rifle for me, although I do occasionally run drills with it because it's the only AR-15 that I own. For right now, I'm working on getting something else. So, on the other side of my property, about 400 yards away, there's a tree line. I'm going to run a simulation where maybe if I am in a situation where I'm in my car, I have my car gun with me, which in this case is my AR-15, I hear some gunfire coming off from, a plaza down the road. I can't get to it by car, so I gotta run. A lot of people, whenever they practice these drills, they do have decent cardio, but they don't practice, running and getting that cardio in before actual operations of said firearm. It doesn't matter how good of a shot you are or how decent you are with the firearm, if you don't get used to operating it under a stressful situation, in this case a 400-yard all-out sprint to really get my heart rate going and whatnot. Not quite as stressful as an actual, shooting situation, but I'm not going to have somebody firing at me for a drill. But I'm going to go ahead and do like a 400-yard sprint down to this chair right here. I'm not going to show you guys the actual sprint on camera because I'm not going to make you guys, watch through that. Y'all are basically just going to see whenever I'm running up onto this chair. This chair would normally not make good cover, but it's just going to represent cover. In this sort of situation. My silhouette down there at about 50 yards away, probably about 40 from the actual chair, about 40 yards away, that's going to be our bad guy, our active shooter, or our deranged drunk guy with a pistol who doesn't know any better. Whatever the situation is, that guy's got to go down. Now in my AR-15 I have Kevin over there, not in the AR-15. Hi Kevin! Good to see you too, buddy. Kevin says hello. In my AR-15, I have a magazine with an unspecified amount of ammunition. No matter how many shots I make on target, I'm going to continue to work with this. I'm not the one who loaded this magazine, so I have no idea how much ammo is in it. Anywhere up to 10 rounds. But after I'm out of ammo, that's going to basically represent a malfunction in the AR-15. Now, a lot of times, if you are a concealed carry holder, you'll still have your concealed carry weapon with you, even if you grab your truck gun. You're not going to grab your truck gun or your car gun, in my case, and pull out your CCW and toss it aside. You're going to keep that with you. So, after the AR jams, runs out of ammo, but for all intents and purposes, because I can't really reliably make this thing jam. After it jams, I'm going to have to rely on that CCW handgun to finish the job, although, it would probably already be finished after I light that guy up with the AR. But that's not what we're going for here. We want to really make sure that guy's down. He's on PCP, cocaine, LSD, he's on all sorts of drugs, he's not going down, he's been hit like 14 times already from other people, and he's still taking them down. So who knows what's gonna happen with this. Alright, now we don't always train for a perfect situation. If it was a perfect situation, we wouldn't need the training. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try something a little different than what I normally would do. I'm going to take my CCW and I'm going to put it on the ground back here to represent it falling out of my holster while I'm running. So whenever the AR-15 jams at an unknown time, I will actually have to retreat, re-grab my CCW off the ground, come back up to cover, or I can stay where I am if I feel comfortable of making those shots there. I want to see how many shots I can make on targets with my cardio running like it will be, which it will be at a 400-yard sprint. Well, I'm going to be out of breath. You better believe it. My cardio is great, but man, it's not that great. This right here is, you know, less of a drill, more of like a match run at this point, just because I'm giving myself so many different tasks to follow. Now, a lot of people would argue, you know, hey, that's, you know, very, very unorthodox. You know, you're going to get basically no usable skill from that. Just work on your concealed carry draw. Well, my average concealed carry draw is about 1.4 seconds, so I'd say I'm already good on that. That being said, I do like to practice the unorthodox stuff because it's fun. The experience that I get from these unorthodox drills might actually come in handy one day. I doubt it. Very, very unlikely, but, you know, never hurts to try. Originally, what I was going to do was I was just going to like run up with my AR. You know, I'm going to be running with the AR because I just grabbed it from my car and come up here. But I was thinking to myself, what if I get a jam? I could practice trying to clear it. Then I was like, nah, switching to the CCW would always be faster. So that's whenever I decided to run with the CCW. But then I was like, well, what if I'm running and, you know, shit happens? What if I drop it? I gotta, you know, plan for that, plan on hunting it down. And I'm not going to actually like drop my CCW while I'm running. I don't want it to go off. My CCW right now at this current point in time is a Star BM 9mm. You guys have seen it on the channel before. Not the greatest CCW, I know. Don't give me flack on that. I'm a poor fucking person, all right? I'm working on getting something a little bit better. But for right now, that's what I got, so that's what I'm using. All right, I'm trying to reposition the camera to stay out of the wind so I can continue to talk. That's why you see it, you know, flopping around like you do. So what's going to happen is I'm going to run up. I am going to be timing myself, but you guys won't see the running procedure, so I'll go ahead and I'll just put the times up somewhere on the screen. I have no idea how many runs I'm going to make of this, I guess until I get, you know, really significantly tired. I imagine I could probably get about 5 done. So with that being said, just going to go over everything one more time. 400-yard sprint all the way down here. Get behind, I guess this would be considered concealment, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to call it cover. I don't know, concrete wall or something. Always make sure that whenever you are going for cover and concealment, you try to either get yourself to be as little seen as possible behind that wall, but you also want to try and stay off the wall as much as possible, because if a round hits it, it will skip along that wall and right into your body, and you don't want that. So what I would normally do in a situation like this is I would actually go prone to make myself as small of a target as possible, and I would try to keep myself as covered as possible by this cover, this fictitious cover right there. So I'm gonna run in, take cover there, shoot until I'm out of ammo, or, you know, in the drill, my AR-15 malfunctions. Like I said, I don't know when that'll be, but after that happens, I will have to run back probably about 15 yards, re-grab my CCW. I think I am going to rejoin the cover right there and re-go prone. Like, let's say on this side is you know, more walling. I can only see him from this side right here, because why not? We'll include that in our drill here. I'm making this more complicated than I have to, so I'm just going to go ahead and run this. One more thing before we get started. I know in the field I would not be running with ear protection on. However, in this particular case, because this is just a drill, I am going to be running with my earmuffs on. So you'll have to get over that little minor indiscrepancy. I'm not going to fire my rifle here on my range without ear protection on. I mean, I know what gunfire sounds like. I've fired without ear protection before. I know, you know, how to handle it, how to deal with it. However, I'm not going to do that right now. Last shot fired, 57.4 seconds. Whew, Nelly. That run was not at the 400 yard mark. I went out to the 251. I knew that it'd be rough, but I want to say how rough it would be. So that was fun. Make sure that if you're doing crap like this, you have water and you stay hydrated. Now my mile time's about 6.5 minutes, which, you know, makes it not great, but definitely not the worst out there. But I was not expecting such an intense, you know, sprint to hit me, impact me the way that it did. I went from standing position to just all out sprinting all the way down here. It was about 250 yards, and in today's 95-degree weather, it was fun. I was running in direct sunlight. I'm going to do that again a few more times. Stick around if you want to watch that. If you're running these drills, be mindful whenever you're running and, you know, diving or doing whatever it is you're doing. Climbing, pole vaulting. I mean, I don't fucking know what you guys do. Whenever you're running, always be mindful of your trigger finger right here. The last thing you want is a negligent discharge while you are hopping into cover. That'll quickly give away your position, and that's something that you don't want the active shooter to know about until you have already put shots on target. .2 seconds. That was fast but inaccurate. I gotta clean myself up a bit. Now those of you that are listening carefully will have picked up by now that the AR-15 bolt is not dropped by the time I get over here. I actually consciously drop it while I'm here. Also, my handgun slide is not racked whenever it's over there on the ground. I have to consciously rack it and then get into position. The reason I'm doing that is to kind of like emphasize firearm control and bearing in mind what state your firearm is in, even under a stressful situation like having just sprinted 250 yards. My voice is a little raspy right now, but that's to be expected. Okay, well, I'm gonna go run that again. Yes, it's tiring, and my cardio isn't great, but my stamina is pretty damn good. All the ladies know that. Now I know what I'm doing right here is, you know, way too unorthodox to actually be comparable to something you would actually come across in the field. However, that's one of the reasons why I'm actually doing it. I know that somebody somewhere is going to complain about it. I'm acknowledging that right now. Don't complain about it. Don't send me hate mail. Don't threaten to kill my family. I already know. However, in the field, you're going to come across some unorthodox situations at least some of the time. Something that, you know, one specific repeat drill won't necessarily get you prepared for. That's why it's good to practice, you know, things out of the ordinary. I like doing it because it's fun. Not only that, but I do get used to these more unorthodox situations, and this type of thing has come in handy in the past. I'm not going to get into that kind of story because I really don't want to talk about that story, but these unorthodox training regimens have come in handy before. Man, that was a shit show. That's why I do this type of stuff. Alright, well, I'm hydrated, I've caught my breath. I'm gonna go ahead and run this again before I get too unexhausted. I don't really know if that's a word, but there's exhausted, then there's unexhausted. Too recovered, I guess you would say. Right at 51 seconds, hell yeah. Oh, might have overdone it on that last one though. I was actually so worn out and out of breath I couldn't grab my CCW off the ground. I had to try 3 different times. I went to grab it, slipped right through my fingers. Tried again, right through my fingers. I had to get a firm grasp on it the next time. So if I didn't mess up on that, I would have been faster. Because man, I went full force sprint on that one. Thanks, Kevin. Kevin's cheering me on. Thanks, buddy. Good to know I have your support. One thing I will state, with the hearing protection on and the adrenaline going and my heart beating, I have no idea how many shots I'm actually making. I know I am missing a good portion of them, especially with the handgun, but hey, that's what these drills are for. I feel like I am getting better with the handgun though, because I'm figuring out how to hold it under a stressful situation. Alright, well, I know I said I'd keep going, and honestly, I would love to keep going right now. Hell, I could do this all day. I'm just that type of person. But I got a call from my gun store, and I have a very special package in today. So I'm actually going to stop right here, go pick up that package, bring it here, hopefully with enough daylight to make another video. So I'm going to go off and do that. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this kind of stuff, go subscribe down below. Let me know you like this kind of comment with a thumbs up on that video. Liking and subscribing definitely helps out with the algorithm and, you know, avoiding YouTube's anti-gun nonsense. Speaking of YouTube's anti-gun nonsense, I do have a second channel down below in the description. It's just a camouflage channel at this point, just in case something happens to this channel. However, it is still fun to do. I get drunk, I play video games, I put it up on that channel. I got some pretty awesome thumbnails on that one too. Go ahead, check that one out. Thanks, Kevin. Kevin's very noisy today. Go ahead, check that one out. Subscribe to it if you want to support this channel, just in case something does happen to this channel. I hope nothing ever does, but let's face it, it's going to happen, and I got to be prepared for it. So I'm starting early. Go ahead and check out the Patreon page. I do Q&As on the Patreon page. I am working on getting a P.O. box set up, so, you know, I've gotten several requests to get stuff sent in to me, and I think that'll be a lot of fun as well. Just don't send me any explosives, all right, guys? Okay, the wind is also really picking up. It feels really good right now, but I gotta get going. I know it doesn't look that way on camera, but it's starting to get later in the day. I want to get to the gun store, get back, and shoot the new gun that I got. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Have a wonderful day. Since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. Shame that bolt action shotguns aren't more mainstream.